What is up, everyone? It's Cannan here with another Bloodborne rumor video. It's funny. I was sitting around enjoying some Monster Hunter Stories 2. Very good game. Still kind of trying to recover from the Ruby panel earlier today when I noticed something very interesting on Twitter. And that's another Bloodborne rumor, as I said. Now, yes, I know that since before the PS5 launched, that there's been a lot of Bloodborne rumors. But, whether they actually come to fruition or not, I want to cover them because, as I've said, Bloodborne is one of, if not my most favorite game of all time. So I want to cover this as much as I can. So I originally did a video, I think about a week ago now, maybe a little bit more than that, about the rumors of not only a remaster, but of a spiritual successor called Velvet Veil. Now, this is pretty much going into the remaster rumors now, and I think a remaster is way more possible than a spiritual successor. Or a sequel at this point. And please remember, From Software said that a Bloodborne sequel is up to Sony because Sony owns the IP. So if we ever get one, it'll be up to Sony. I'm kind of at the point now to where I really don't care if we get Bloodborne 2 at this point. I just want another Souls-like game with Lovecraftian lore. That's all I ask. But yeah, so this popped up. It was put out today. It's not a very long article. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the article and then I'll give my thoughts on some things. So, Bloodborne Endless Nocturne coming to PS5 this year. According to leaks, we might be able to play Bloodborne on our PC and PS5 soon. Okay. Bloodborne is arguably one of the best PlayStation 4 exclusives, and it's a shame that it's not on PC yet. Fortunately, it looks like that might change in the near future. Bloodborne Endless Nocturne is set to be announced for PC and PlayStation 5 this September during a State of Play, with a November 2021 release following soon after. That's according to a new rumor that's swimming around online that was originally shared to 4chan. The leaker claims that Endless Nocturne isn't going to be a sequel to Bloodborne, but a fairly straightforward port of the PS4 game being handled by a small team at From Software. They go on to suggest this enhanced port will target 4K 60 frames per second on console with an uncapped frame rate on PC with resolutions up to 8K. They stress that there may be some minor texture upgrades, but this is essentially a port, not a remake or a remaster. While anonymous 4chan sources are always to be taken with the biggest pinch of salt, this is not the first time we've heard of an upgrade Bloodborne for PC and PS5. Rumors have been floating around for months now that Sony is planning to port the game to PC and releasing a slightly enhanced version for PS5 at the same time would make a lot of sense. While we can't imagine it'll be anything as robust as the new director's cuts of Ghost of Tsushima or Death Stranding, Bloodborne is a game that would absolutely benefit from slicker frame rates and kind of rapid loading times that the PS5 is capable of. While the PS4 version of Bloodborne is mercilessly capable of loading much quicker now than at launch, ain't that the truth? The less loading screens in a game where dying is a regular occurrence, the better. Okay. So, let's go over some things here. Endless Nocturne is kind of a appropriate title because of the theme of the game going around dreams and nightmares. So, I would believe that. I believe that might be a really good name for it. Says it's going to be announced in September during a State of Play. So let's look at things now. See, July, August. So in about 2 months, this is supposed to be announced. Now, if Sony announces a state of play for September, then my, if I could do it, my ears would be doing this. They'd be twitching. Um, with a November 2021 release following, that would be perfect. My birthday is in November. That would be the perfect birthday gift. Is an updated version of Bloodborne. Um, the only thing is, like, I can't remember. I cannot remember for the life of me, but Sony usually spans out their state of plays a pretty good time, because like I reacted to the one in February, and then they kind of had one in May, so that's about 3 months for Horizon, the new Horizon game. And then we didn't get a real state of play until this week, um, with yesterday actually, with their state of play, which I was gonna react to, but there just wasn't much in it that I was interested in. Um, so this is interesting. Could they really have one that soon? Maybe it would be completely dedicated to Bloodborne. I don't know, but definitely in like toward the end of this month and early August, early to mid August, if hopefully we will be hearing something. Um, so yeah, if we get word that there is going to be a state of play in September, I would definitely watch it just in case. Um, but yeah, that's announce it in September and release it in November. But for a simple updated port, that's a pretty reasonable time frame. It isn't going to be a sequel. Handled by a small team at From Software, which a small team could handle just a simple port with with a minor updated textures, and putting it from 30 frames per second up to 60. So this is essentially a port, not a remake or a remaster. So it's not going to be that huge of an upgrade as far as visuals go, but it gets it out of that very bad 30 frames per second. I never looked it up, but I really wish I could find out why From Software locked it at 30 frames per second when the PS4 was capable of much more than that. But yeah, who knows. Um so yeah, it says take it with a pinch of salt because it's 4chan. You never know with 4chan. But like it said, it's not the first time we've heard of this. This has been talked about for a long time. And really, if you ask me, when it comes to Sony putting their exclusives on PC, I think they do it the smart way, really. Because a lot of people do get upset. It's like, oh, it's supposed to be a console exclusive. I bought a PS4 just for this game. Now it's on PC and all that. But at least Sony doesn't like release it as an exclusive and then couple of months later it's on PC. They wait a good amount of time. I think a year a year more is perfectly fine for them to put console exclusives on PC, because Sony wants to make more money, of course. That's always when you run a business, how you do it. But they did recently announce the director's cut of Ghost of Tsushima, and now the new PS5 upgraded version of Death Stranding, which is also called director's cut. But the reason why those are called director's cut is because they've got a bit more. I could see this not having a director's cut title just because it's not as big as an update as these games. And who knows, Endless Nocturne, that might be a name of a new DLC. You just never know. That might be what Velvet Veil actually was. That might have been a DLC name. I'm just guesstimating here, not saying that's definite, so don't go starting a new rumor on my account. So in my thoughts, this is going to happen. Maybe not this one right away, and maybe it might not be announced in September, but Bloodborne upgraded for PS5 and put on PC, it's going to happen. There's too many rumors for it to be all just people wishful thinking. you know, the moment they started putting games like Horizon and stuff like that on PC, I was like, Bloodborne's going to get ported sooner or later. I don't know why Sony is being so hesitant with it, but it might be because Bloodborne was a very successful exclusive for them. Like it was definitely considered one of the best new IPs for them, and some regard it as the best game From Software has ever made, and some consider it one of the greatest video games of all time. It's definitely one of a kind in that it was one of the only games to really portray Lovecraftian cosmic horror correctly, because there's a lot of games that try and do it and they miss the mark. They want to be Lovecraft, so they're way too Lovecraft. This, it was like they put in just enough, and it's like the first half of the game is gothic horror, the second half is Lovecraftian horror, so they added the right amount and they just did it right. So it could be this year, it could be next year, they could wait. Let's see, I think, when did Bloodborne come out, in 2014 or 2015? Either way, they could wait until 2024, 2025 and do it and be like a 10-year anniversary thing. Who knows? But yeah, if you ask me, I'm not making a prediction as far as when, but is it pretty, like, I'm not going to make one like when exactly, but is it a if or when this is going to happen? It's definitely a when. This is definitely going to happen at some point. And whether it's like a full-on remaster or if it's just a port like this says, it's going to do well. It's Bloodborne. Hopefully if you already own it on PS4, you get it for free. But even if I have to pay like $10, like for Death Stranding, I'll do it. I don't think it'll be, it's not going to be like Ghost of Tsushima where you've got to spend like, what is it, $40 to get the director's cut content. Now, if they add like a DLC to it, then yeah, you'll have to buy the DLC. But, if this is just a port, I see it being a free upgrade, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, I mean, that's really all I've got. I don't know if any other website is covering this, but this is the one that was up on Twitter. So, I'll leave a link in the description for this article if you guys want to look through it and maybe take it apart yourselves. Very quick video, but, I mean, I can only ramble so much about this. But, yeah, I think this is definitely going to happen. I don't see Sony or From Software losing anything if this happens. I just wish we would get something concrete, like something from Software or Sony. Just say something already, because people have been begging for this for a long time. And, yeah, there's going to be some people, porting well, people shouldn't really have problems with a port. But a lot of people have been saying, remastering a last-gen game. A last-gen game that is showing age at this point, and one that people really, really want. I want this, and I'm like, I would pay top dollar for a port on PlayStation 5 at this point. That gets rid of that 30 frames per second. But like I said, we'll see. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave me a comment, tell me what you think. As always, guys, me and Jess love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. And remember, fear the old blood. See ya.